With a show like Manifest, there is certainly no shortage of fan theories. We know by now that we should be very suspicious of absolutely everyone and everything, so some of the theories are pretty out there. But we just can't help ourselves. Trying to figure out the plot is so fun. So let's take a look at the Manifest theories that suggest there is more to Beverly and other theories as well. First, there are two realities. Reddit user MimTab wrote down exactly how Manifest is actually taking place in two separate realities. One reality where the plane exploded and crashed into the ocean, and the other wherein the plane arrived safely. And they say that the Callings are actively moving reality towards one of them. Depending on what the passengers do, they move towards one timeline or the other, which would absolutely explain how Cal came back as a teenager, as if the plane had never disappeared for 5 years. Though a lot of fans were left with a whiplash when Cal first appeared as a teenager. It does add up. This is the age he would have been if the plane had never disappeared. Manifest wouldn't be doing anything new here, and we do expect a lot from our beloved show, and it would be very interesting to see how that would end. Next, it's all a simulation, but it could also be just a simulation, and someone or something is manipulating a complex program. But that theory raises a lot more questions than it does answers. It would definitely give an easy explanation for the Callings. If it's all a simulation, then it could be a bitter programmer messing with the lives of the passengers. Unless, of course, this is exactly what's supposed to be happening in said simulation, and the program is simply cruel. Or the system has been corrupted by some kind of virus, if it's not being hacked. As frustrating as this theory sounds on the surface, it could very easily be true. A lot of things would even kind of make sense. Not to mention, the possibilities are endless. But maybe the problem with this theory is exactly what its merit is. It's easy, too easy. And now, the Callings are evil. Not everyone is convinced that the Callings have good intentions at all. Instead, they have an agenda of their own, and just use the passengers as a means to their own apocalyptic goal. Though, they have also been likened to an end boss, with the price of winning being that you defeat the Death Day and get to live your life as though they were never on the flight. It looks like there is something the Callings have to gain from blind submission as well. Given that no one knows what the Callings are, it would be smart to remember that they could be anything, including evil. Even if there's no evil programmer behind it, and the Callings turn out to be something completely different, there is absolutely no proof that the Callings have the best interest of the passengers in mind. Whatever the Callings will end up being, they have sure put a lot of brains into some awful knots. Following, Michaela Stone will lead the passengers. Always putting the lives of others before her own, some of the absolute best and bravest acts on Manifest have come from Mick, and there's no reason why she shouldn't take it to the next level next season. She has all the right ingredients to be a great leader, and the passengers could use a steady, reliable leader. She may very well be the one who will lead the charge on one side of the divide on the lifeboat, with Egan doing the same on the other side. A sound theory, but fans know that really nothing is too wild for Manifest. Our theories may be sound, and very possible, we'll still be taken off guard by whatever happens next. The one thing that doesn't work with this theory, however, is that Mick taking the lead would displace Ben, and that's not something Mick ever wants to do. So, what would it take to make her do it anyway? And are the creators willing to make her do it? Yes. Don't go anywhere. There are many more theories about Manifest that are amazing food for thought. Have you ever thought about Angelina and the mayor, and how they may be linked? Will Evie really stay dead? And what fan theories suggest there is more to Beverly than we expected up until now? Those and many more next up in this video. First up, Evie could come back. This argument has been rationalized by using Grace's death as an example. Some have pointed out that her death coincided perfectly with the return of Cal. This has made some feel like this might mean that there is some kind of balance at work in the Manifest universe. A balance that demands one death for every life, and vice versa. Evie has had a crucial role in Mick's story arc, which is pretty noteworthy, as she's been dead through the entirety of the show. And that's exactly why some fans now believe that she must have some bigger role yet to play. One that may even bring her back to life. If that turns out to be true, it sure would be one of the more surprising moments in the history of Manifest. Next up, Angelina and the mayor are the same person. Both Angelina and the mayor are villains in Manifest, which is exactly why fans have been wondering whether or not there isn't some kind of special connection between them. Namely, are they the same person? And not only that, Eden is her daughter. But if this is true, how do they both exist on the same timelines? Unless there are indeed two realities, and they both live in their respective timelines. Does the mayor even know that Angelina would do what she did? And are they the only ones? Or are there other characters that share the same predicament? If this theory is true, the implications would be massive. Following, there's a final boss. Of course, we all think that the passengers are very brave, but we have to remember that they don't really have a choice either. The Callings aren't exactly clear on what it is they want, forcing the passengers to deal with a rather chaotic uncertainty. And yes, some of the requests are really extreme, but so is not listening to them. The choice they have is the uncertainty of making decisions and taking action or die. So, is that really a choice? Still, it makes the Callings look like a final boss. A boss who gives you a second chance of life if you have the courage to defeat it. A life without a death day where you get to carry on as if they were never on the plane to begin with. This theory seems to be supported by the return of Cal, who was able to do what the callings demanded of him, and now he can live his life. And now, what if the passengers are immortal? As so many theories tie into each other, making it seem like they're all just a little bit more believable, this one also ties into some of them. Reddit user Infamous Equivalent has a very interesting theory about the return of some of the passengers. According to them, the quote theory of everything is basically quantum immortality, meaning some people are just lucky enough to survive in any accident that happens in the world. In this case, it's the supposed crash of Flight 828. Except, for the passengers on the timeline of the show, assuming there is only one, it never happened. In fact, they're so lucky they never even age, and get to hop right on to a timeline where the accident never happens. Of course, this means that there is a timeline where the plane does sink to the bottom of the ocean, and it's from this plane that bits and pieces somehow find their way into the other timeline. How this would all make sense in the end, no one knows, so it may very well be true. And at last, theories that suggest there is more to Beverly. 3 seasons of Manifest has taught each and every one of us enough to know to be cautious with literally every character, even sweet old Beverly. She didn't play much of a role in season 3, not aside from giving some wisdom and some much needed comic relief, but there are more than a few who have a feeling that Beverly's day has yet to come. Many speculating that there must be a reason that Beverly stuck around for so long. Many fans have observed that Beverly behaves a little differently whenever she's around the passengers. The question is, did Beverly somehow pick up someone's abilities, like Zeke? Some fans say that the way she talked to Angelina makes it seem that way. Or are the abilities of the passengers influencing her? Another possibility could be that for all her innocence, she is there to somehow instigate conflict between the passengers. If not that, maybe she's there to showcase Zeke's ability to cause conflict. Whether any of these theories is right or not, something is definitely up with Beverly. Most fans agree that she's going to play a big role in the next season. Maybe not having her around too much was a strategic move. We'll have to wait and see, but we're warning you, don't let Beverly fool you. She just might know more than she's been letting on. And that's a wrap on some of the most interesting fan theories out there. Are you just as excited for the new season of Manifest to drop as we are? Which theories do you think will make it into season 4 of Manifest? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.